V by Nikolai Gogol. Horror novella. Part 12. He gazed wildly and rubbed his eyes. But she was indeed no longer lying, but sitting up in the coffin. He turned his eyes away, then again looked with horror at the coffin. She's standing up. She's walking through the church with her eyes closed, constantly spreading her arms as if wishing to catch someone. She was walking straight toward him. In fear, he drew a circle around himself. With an effort, he began reading prayers and reciting the incantations that had been taught him by one monk who had seen witches and unclean spirits all his life. She stood almost on the line itself, but it was clearly beyond her power to cross it, and she turned all blue, like someone dead for several days. Khoma did not have the courage to look at her. She was frightful. She clacked her teeth and opened her dead eyes. But seeing nothing, she turned in the other direction with a fury that showed in her twitching face, and spreading her arms, clutched with them at every pillar and corner, trying to catch Khoma. Finally she stopped, shook her finger, and lay down in her coffin. The philosopher still could not come to his senses, and kept glancing fearfully at the witch's cramped dwelling. Finally the coffin suddenly tore from its place, and with a whistle began flying all through the church, crossing the air in every direction. The philosopher saw it almost over his head, but at the same time he saw that it could not enter the circle he had drawn. So he stepped up his incantations. The coffin crashed down in the middle of the church and remained motionless. The corpse again rose up from it, blue, turning green. But just then came the distant crowing of a cock. The corpse sank back into the coffin, and the coffin lid slammed shut. The philosopher's heart was pounding, and sweat streamed from him. But encouraged by the crowing of the cock, he quickly finished reading the pages he ought to have read earlier. At daybreak he was relieved by the beadle and grey-haired Yavtuk, who on this occasion performed the duties of a church warden. Having gone to lie down, the philosopher was unable to fall asleep for a long time, but fatigue overcame him, and he slept till dinner. When he woke up, all the events of the night seemed to have happened in a dream. To bolster his strength, he was given a pint of vodka. At dinner he relaxed. However, he did not venture to speak of his experiences in the church, from some feeling unaccountable to himself, and to the questions of the curious, replied, "Yes, there were all sorts of wonders." After dinner, the philosopher was in the highest spirits. He managed to walk about the whole village and make the acquaintance of nearly everybody. He was even chased out of 2 cottages. One comely young wench gave him a decent whack on the back with a shovel, when he decided to feel and find out what kind of material her blouse and kirtle were made of. But the closer it came to evening, the more pensive the philosopher grew. An hour before supper, almost all the household people sat by the kitchen porch. The young people laughed heartily over some witticism of the cowherd or spirit. In vain did Khoma try to take part in this fun. Some dark thought, like a nail, was lodged in his head. Over supper, hard though he tried to cheer himself up, fear kindled in him as darkness spread over the sky. "Well, our time has come, Mr. Student," said the familiar grey-haired Cossack to him, getting up from his place together with Dorosh. "Let's go to work." The story continues in part 13.